Pomni is special. It's very rare when a character captures me as much as Pomni did in The Amazing Digital Circus, and if you're a fan of this show, you know that the character writing and designs are incredible. And I think the writing behind Pomni and the design is very telling as to where the show might go, so stick around for those theories towards the end. Welcome to our... Before we get into the writing of Pomni, which makes her an outstanding character in itself, let's talk about the design. Especially after episode 7, this design really stands out. The red and blue fitting of her anxious and indecisive nature, matching the colors of the 2 buttons revealed to the cast in episode 7, where Pomni fittingly was on the fence about which button to press, and her outfit reflects that. Just really cool, simple, iconic design, and a lot of fun, and for many reasons, but especially because of episode 7, I think it's hard to deny that the even blue and red split in her design is very intentional, but design alone doesn't make a good character. But what makes Pomni so special? Why is she the main character and not one of these other characters? What makes her important? Well, she's not special, like at all. The reason I believe she works so well is because she isn't necessarily special. We are Pomni.
We are Pomni.
She's relatable, and that contrasts with the dramatic world of The Amazing Digital Circus really well. I feel like the way she was written is kind of akin to how Spider-Man was written. Spider-Man was designed to be relatable, not just relatable to everyone, but relatable to specifically the type of people that would be reading the comic books about Spider-Man.
I think most teenagers reading it thought to themselves, hey, that could be me, so there certainly was that identification.
In the same way, Pomni represents your average indie animation fan of the modern day. And they're both blue and red. But it's not just Pomni's relatableness that makes her stand out as a great character. It's the world that surrounds her and the characters in it. Caine represents the exact opposite type of character, a completely unrelatable AI that feels too random and insincere to connect with in any meaningful way. Then you have other humans stuck in The Amazing Digital Circus. All of them are great characters, and I honestly want to cover each and every one of them in their own videos, but they all have a single very clear character trope that they fall into. They are more exaggerated in that way. I found myself relating with each of their struggles individually, but never fully relating with any one character entirely. I feel like they're mostly representative of their one specific character flaw or trait. And that may not be something everyone connects with, while the thing that makes Pomni relatable is much more universal, feeling stuck. Feeling stuck is a struggle that is increasingly more relatable to the youth, and Pomni is the embodiment of this feeling. She's powerless, stuck doing adventures that she doesn't even want to do just to make it to the next day and do it all over again. Sound familiar? And Pomni's just such a real feeling character for how cartoonish this show can be. I'll watch plenty of animated shows where something happens and I yell at my screen to do the obvious thing to solve the situation and they don't do it. Pomni isn't really like that. I'm almost always in agreement with her decisions and never feel like she's doing something just for the sake of the plot. Her responses always feel natural, and I often find myself thinking this is exactly what I would do here and cheering on Pomni because of it. Compelling art puts up a mirror and reflects reality back at you. And when the reality that it reflects is essentially yourself, it makes the story feel so much more real. And after all, plenty of people feel just as trapped as Pomni. So it works. It works really well. That's why I love the character. And it's also why I'm gonna be devastated when it's eventually revealed that Pomni is an AI herself. First, let's go back to the design. Blue and red. I know many theorists have been talking about I have no mouth and I must scream, and how it is a large inspiration for the show, which if you don't know, Caine is the character who is directly inspired by Am in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which is the AI overlord that tortures everyone in that book. Well, the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream game depicts Am with red and blue eyes on the cover. This frame that people have frozen of Caine is very, very telling with the red and blue eyes. This is something that's been referenced to throughout the show, and I think Gooseworks has been using the red and blue colors to hint at this the whole time by making Pomni half red and half blue. But also notably in episode 7, the 2 buttons were blue and red, which is also coincidentally the same colors as in The Matrix, where red is the option to know the truth and blue is the option to stay in ignorant bliss. In this story though, blue ends up being the option to leave and red is the option to stay in the digital circus, which to me, that's their subtle way of saying the truth is that you can't leave. Here are a couple more reasons why I think this is true. I feel like they wouldn't have made fun of and called so much attention to the human farm theory in episode 7 just for that to be the truth. I think they're kind of making fun of that theory. The actual truth is all of the characters are just AI simulations of what their mind was, and the real versions of themselves in real life are actually free and just living life, and that's why they can't leave. I don't think all the characters are hooked up to like machines to keep them alive. I think they're probably just all NPCs that are designed off of the thoughts of the original people. I also think from a writing standpoint, it just makes sense to make that the twist. I mean, in episode 2, they introduce Gummy Goo. They have a moment that kind of questions what is a real person. I think they're leaning in the direction of everyone is AI forever, but I'm not sure. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it.